More evidence that the workplace is not always equal for men and women, as the CEO of a new company opens up about how she had to hide her pregnancy to attract investors, keep her business alive. She wrote about the experience in an op-ed in Fortune magazine, and ABC's Kayna Whitworth has her story.
I felt ashamed, alone, upset, scared.
Talia Goldstein was a successful 33-year-old CEO, isolated by a secret.
I was pregnant.
Goldstein and her husband were thrilled to be expecting their first child, but Talia wasn't able to share her happy news.
It's sad that she had to hide it, and you should be able to wear your pregnancy proudly, I guess.
Talia had launched a successful matchmaking website, 3-Day Rule. With her business and belly expanding, Talia worried that many investors wouldn't take a pregnant CEO seriously, so she covered up.
In one meeting, it was 80 degrees outside and I wore a trench coat. But I thought I'm better off looking ridiculous than looking pregnant.
At some point in your mind, were you making things worse than maybe they really were?
It's a great question. I called up a bunch of my advisors and asked them, without telling them I was pregnant, if they would invest in a pregnant CEO. And they all very openly told me they would not. It's a huge red flag. I felt like it was the only decision that I had. And I didn't want to sabotage our company.
But Talia did attract investors, and now 2 years later and pregnant again, she's changed her approach.
I'm going to wear tight clothes and show it off, and we'll see what happens.
Her daughter is due in November, and this time everyone knows. For Good Morning America, Kayna Whitworth, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Okay, you know what? We asked everybody at home, would you try to hide a pregnancy in the workplace? Here's the results. 24% said yes, 76% said no. Tori Johnson has joined us now, of course, our GMA contributor, written a lot of books on women in the workplace. Does this surprise you?
Stuns me, absolutely. And you know what? I wish that that things were fair enough that being pregnant wouldn't preclude somebody from getting hired. But the reality is there is so much bias and preconceived notions in the workplace. It is hard enough to get a job that, you know, the reality is being pregnant and showing when you are looking for a job is difficult, and it's almost permission to not choose you.
Oh, and you have helped a lot of people get positions. And if you are a job seeker and you're pregnant, what is your advice?
So there's two things that I would say. The first is conceal it while you are job searching. And I know for some people that's very difficult to do because it sort of feels deceitful. Instead, I would focus on all of your accomplishments and why you are perfect for this position, because unless you have little to no competition for the job, being pregnant is going to be a red flag.
You mean just don't mention it, don't lie about it.
I would conceal it. I wouldn't announce it. I wouldn't show it. And but then on the second piece of advice to that, I would say that once you receive the offer, a firm offer, and you know that they want you, that's the time, assuming that you're past your first trimester and that everything's looking good, that's the time to then say, I want to share this information with you. And what you have to be aware is that for most employers, their initial concern is immediacy versus long-term value. And so what you want to be clear is that, listen, I know that initially this is going to be a little hurdle for both of us, but I am so focused on getting in here. This is the company I want to be at. I'm committed to my career, and together we're going to make this work.
So mommy bias is real.
It is real, absolutely. We know that it's real. And I think that being a strong performer is the best thing that you can do. I think having great communication, effective communication with your boss is essential. And I also think not expecting any kind of special treatment matters.
That's critical.
I think a lot of the bias comes from sort of an unexpected burden on our colleagues who don't have kids, where we think they can handle it all.
So asking for a foot rub was not a good idea?
Unless you're giving it to everybody. Do it for all.
But it's something that we're having this conversation in 2015.
Yep.
Wow.
And we are.
Yeah, it's an important one.